and they're still going after Donald Trump, who wants to destroy the New World Order. I mean, I had Alex Newman on. He says, I know you would disagree about the shots and all that, but boy, he was taking a sledgehammer to the New World Order. He got us out of the Paris Climate Accord. He got us out of
Well,
who?
but wait a minute. He put $10 billion into a military program to depopulate Americans. Come on, Greg. I'm going to be a tough guy about this.
Do you think he was told the truth, though? I mean, Birx came out on Fox and said, I always knew the mRNA injections would not offer, much protection against infection. She came out and said that, and Neil Cavuto's like, you can Google this.
So if you look at the history of what is known, it takes 10 to 12 years to test out a vaccine to make sure it's safe. Everybody knows that. Come on. So, no.
You actually think Donald Trump actually knew, hey, we're going to depopulate and murder off a bunch of people? See, I don't. I think he was lied to, and he missed this. He knows now. He knows now. That's
if there was one person who understood how dangerous vaccines are that was in political life, it was Donald Trump, because this was a big issue during the campaign. And he made a big issue about, the dangers of vaccines. So he knows.
So you think he knew ahead of time? You think he knew going into it that we're going to depopulate people? See, I just don't believe that. I think he knows now. I think he definitely knows now. Which he should, which I'm pissed that he's not coming out.
So I'm just going to be a tough guy, because okay. I knew the injection program stunk. I knew it was dangerous, and I knew there were different nefarious agendas that could go on. And I said to people, as soon as the virus started, or as soon as they claimed there was a virus, because I think it was more than one thing going on, I said, don't worry about COVID. Worry about the injection. Don't take the injection, whatever you do. So if I knew that in March 2020, I'm sure Trump knew that. So no, $10 billion, he put in charge of Operation Warp Speed someone who's, was head of research at a pharmaceutical company, and his his expertise was on brain-machine interface. Come on, Greg. Here's the problem. Trump, you can say Trump was on board for a depopulation, or Trump got rolled. Either one is not a very good case to be made that he ought to be president.
Wow. I just can't believe that he would say, sure, let's kill millions of people. I just have a hard time believing that, especially when Birx writes a book.
But go back, then you're saying he's incompetent, because if I knew what I knew, don't tell me I knew more than Trump. I just don't buy that.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying, that's depressing, because
you got to hold people accountable. You got to tell the truth, and you got to hold people accountable. That's the only way out of this.
And Biden is a big, fat, huge, smoking, steaming bag of crap.
Here's the thing. The president is not running the situation. The president is not in charge. That's what you got to understand. And, I keep talking
about... Explain that. The president's not... Please, so we explain that. Well, he's the president. Why isn't he in charge? But explain why...
What happened in 1963? What happened in November 1963?
Kennedy was shot in the head.
Well, the U.S. intelligence agencies and military and establishment got together and killed the president, right?
That's right.
And who controls the Secret Service, right? It's the Secretary of the Treasury and the people who run the country. So the deep state controls the Secret Service, and their guns point out and their guns point in. So, the president, in a highly centralized system, the president has very little power. Now, I've told you the red button story many, many times, but the moral of the story of the red button story, if you go to Solari or you go on the web, you can do a search for the red button story in my name and you'll pull it right up. But essentially what it says, everybody in America wants their check. And the way they get their check is to borrow more money and print more money. And so you've had a lot of popular support for the financial coup. And the reason is everybody wants their check. Now, you put the president in charge, you hit the population with massive amounts of propaganda, disinformation, entrainment. Suddenly they're screaming they want a vaccine, right? And you're Trump, and you feel cornered and squeezed by the fact that everybody wants their check. And the only way you can get their check is to be nice to the deep state and the central bankers. And the only way you can make them happy is to give them whatever the entrainment and TV has persuaded them they want.
Do you think that he art of the deal this thing, and he had a trade-off? And the trade-off was, well, you get your check, but some of you are going to die.
You know something? I have no idea what was going on. And I don't care because you had the president roll out something that in March 2020, I was sure was going to harm and kill millions of Americans. And he either has two reasons for doing it. He's incompetent or he is breaking the law. Which do you want? I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't say. But I know what I knew, and I know what I hold him responsible to know, and I know what he did. And I know what I would have done. I would never, I would have taken a bullet in the head before I would implement a culling of the American population.
Of
Right.
course, we have to lay some blame squarely at Biden's. You have vaxxer job and mandates and forcing this shit, which Trump wouldn't have done. That's what he says anyway. And
Right, but
so Biden
let's
is
back up because
pure evil.
we're not talking about we're talking around in a box where there are no solutions, and we have to go to where we can get power and implement real solutions.
I know
So
this was
just remember, I just want to make this clear. In October 2019, when everybody in America was being entertained by the teenage sex life of the Supreme Court nominee Kavanaugh, the House, the Senate, and the White House, Democrat and Republican, both sides of the aisle, got together and approved Statement 56 of the Federal Accounting Advisory or Standards Advisory Board, which said that they could keep secret books. That was everybody together. Okay? So there is no right versus left. There is no Trump versus Biden. There is a machine in control of a spending machine that is financed with our taxes and debt borrowed in our name that is being sold into our pension funds and into our retirement accounts. There is that machine, and that machine, to keep balancing the books, is implementing a depopulation plan. That is the reality that has to be faced, and changing the president won't matter